now, so let's just do this now, but it was just wanted to tell you it's wonderful. Here we go. 1 second. So let's just do this now, but it was just wanted to tell you it's wonderful. Wait a minute. I know what I've done wrong. I've got to make this quiet. Sorry. I better. So let's just do this now. But that's what happens when I don't focus. I know what I've done wrong. I've got to. Right, did it. Sorry, everybody, for that noise. Okay, great. All right. Oh, here we are. Admit. There we go. Wonderful. Okay, so people are just coming in. All right. So first of all, lovely to have everybody. Really is. Oh, here comes Malka. That's great. All right then. So let's just start with our tefillah, which is always a good beginning. Share. Okay. Am I sharing? I don't know what I'm doing. Is it sharing? I think it's sharing.
Yes, it's sharing.
Thanks. Okay. ריבון עולמים ותנדנים, אברהם וסליחות, מודים אנחנו לפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ולאבותינו, וקידה בשתחוויה, שקרבתנו לתורתך ולעבודתך עבודת הקודש, ונתת לנו חלק בסודות תורתך הקדושה, מה אנו ומחיינו, אשר עשית עמנו חסד גדול כזה, על כן אנחנו מפילים תחנוננו לפניך, שתמחול ותסלח לכל חטאותינו ועוונותינו, ועל יהיו עוונותינו מבדילים בינינו לבינך, וכן יהי רצון מלפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ולאבותינו, שתכונן את לבבינו ליראתך ולבבך, ותקשיב אוזניך לדברינו אלה, ותפתח לבבינו הערל בסודות תורתך, ויהיה לימודנו זה נחת רוח, לפני כיסא כבודך כריח ניחוח, ותאציל עלינו, אור מקור נשמתנו בכל בחינתנו, שיתנוצצו ניצוצות עבודך הקדושים, אשר על ידם גלית דבריך אלה בעולם, וזכותם וזכות אבותם, וזכות תורתם ותמימותם וקדושתם, יעמוד לנו לבל ניכשל בדברים אלו, ובזכותם תראיננו במה שאנו לומדים, כמה אמנעים זמירות ישראל, גל עיני והביטה נפלאות מתורתך, כי אדוני ייתן חוכמה מפיו דעת ותבונה, יולרות צונים מפי, ויגון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Amen. כן יהי רצון.
Amen.
Now then, right. We want to dedicate our learning. Let's dedicate our learning for Refuah Shalema for all the wounded. Okay. So walk.
Amen.
Okay. Right. Ma'arat Machpela. I think that's what I'm sharing now. It's a Zohar. Okay, so let me just zoom out a moment, a little bit. That's it. So
you're still on the pre.
Oh, it is. Oh, whoops.
We haven't shared the Zohar.
Whoops, thank you so much.
I'm the watchdog tonight.
You're doing great. I mean, really fantastic. I don't know what I'd do without you guys. Right. This is all of it on Chayei, so I have to tell you, is complex. Okay. I found it difficult. The Zohar takes the opportunity to talk a lot about Techiyat HaMeitim, the revival of the dead, the difference between somebody who's a tzaddik and somebody who's not a tzaddik, what happens when they die, that kind of thing. So it sort of takes the opportunity to go into that whole idea deeply. And it also uses a lot of technical terms, which I found difficult. I found one article of Rabbi Baruch Shalom, which kind of turned me to this place in the Zohar, on the Ma'arat Machpela. So we'll learn it in the Zohar first, and then we'll go to the article of Rabbi Baruch Shalom. And again, like, that's not the easiest article either, but we'll manage with Be'ezrat Hashem. Okay, so it's obviously quite a tricky topic here. So we're talking about Sarah's passing and Avraham's need to bury her, and why he chooses Ma'arat Machpela, the cave of Machpela, and why he goes into this a whole long bargaining session with Ephron and Bnei Chet. What is it all about? And the Zohar takes it, of course, to a totally different dimension. So we'll see what we can do with it. Rabbi Elazar Amar. Rabbi Elazar said, "B'sharta dal Avram b'marata, hecha'al, begin t'havarehit avtrei bahu agla, t'chtiv el abakar ratza v'hamagome, v'hu ben bakar, arak adahu marata v'al avtrei v'chama madachama." So Rabbi Elazar is asking the question, why was Avraham Avinu so sure that he wanted the cave of Machpela? What was it about the cave of Machpela which was so special that was where he wanted to bury Sara? Okay, so Rabbi Elazar brings a midrash. Rabbi Elazar says, "Shash nichnas Avraham b'ma'ara," when Avraham entered into the Ma'ara, ech nichnas, how did he go in the first place? I mean, what was the reason why he went into the cave in the first place? And he says, he was running after the calf. Which calf are we talking about? Shekatuv bo, and it's written, if you remember last week, okay, when the three men came and he didn't yet know they were angels, okay, and he ran el abakar ratz Avraham, and he ran to the herd, okay, to get a nice meal for them. Uben bakarhu, and the little calf who was there, barach adoto amara, escaped all the way to the cave. Avraham nichnas acharav lamara, and Avraham went in after him to the cave. V'ra'a ma shera'a, and he saw what he saw. Kuf Aleph. To begin the Yutzali kol yoma v'yoma hava nafik adahu chakal, davasalik reichini le'in, v'chama nahod nafik nigomarata, v'tzali taman, v'taman mileli meikut shebrichu, begin karba lev de tiyufte hava bahu atatadir. There was another reason. He would pray to God every single day, and he would go out until he reached that particular field, which was raising up beautiful scents. And he saw the light coming from within the cave. Vitpalel sham, and he prayed there. V'sham diber im HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that was where the Holy Blessed One spoke with him. V'ken hafetz ba, and that's why he wanted it. B'mara, in the cave. U'tshukatoi taboto makom tamid, and his desire was always at that place. Now, you can certainly take it, as a physical place, because the physicality of this world also comes from God. But one can also take it that he's coming to some sort of spiritual stage, okay, where he's connecting with the higher, the smells which are coming like more like the Garden of Eden. He's coming to, because the Sadeh, in a field, in the language of Kabbalah, is very often a field of consciousness. Okay, so he's coming to a field, a physical field, or it could be a field of consciousness, okay, which is raising up beautiful smells. And the smell, the idea of smell, is it goes from below to above. Okay, so it's a good place to pray because the prayer can go up easily from below to above. And his desire is there because he wants to serve God. That's the essence of Avraham. Kuf bet. Ve'itemai hachi amai lo bala adar hashta. Begin to lo yishkachun alei, whoever lo yitztarech alei, hashta yitztarech alei, mahashata lemit baalei. Now, like I say, the Zohar is talking in the language of the physical. All right. So it says, and you could say, if that's the case, why didn't he ask to buy it until now? I mean, if he's from that moment when the calf ran into the cave, that's until that's before Yitzhak was born, okay? And Sarah dies on hearing the news of the Akedah when Yitzhak was 37 years old. So we're talking about 37 years. So he's asked the question, well, if this was a place that Avraham really understood that it was a high spiritual place and it was good to pray there, and this was where God spoke to him, why didn't he want to buy it up till now? ואומר, כיוון שלא הצריך אותו, היה מפחד שלא יסתכלו אחריו, ויבינו את השתוקקותו וחשיבותו של המערה. And he says, since he didn't need it, he was worried that they shouldn't look after him. Who? The wills to receive for oneself alone. So the B'nai Chet, are representing the wills to receive for himself alone. So here the B'nai Chet, okay, he doesn't want to raise up that side. And they would understand his desire and importance of the cave. And then they raise the price, make it much more difficult for him to buy. And like I say, like you can take it on two levels all the time. Or maybe they refuse to sell it to him completely. Now that he needs it. Now has come the time to ask for it. Kuf Gimel. Tachazi. I Ephron hava chame b'marata, mad hava chame Avraham ba. Lo yasbin la le'olamin. Ela v'dai lo chama ba v'lo klum. Da leit milai itgalia ela l'marei. V'gin kach le'Avram itgalia, v'lo le'Ephron. ולאברהם התגליה דילי, אבל לאפרון לא הבת התגליה לי, דלא הווה לי חול קבי, וכן כך לא התגלה לאפרון כלום, ולא הווה חמי אלא חשוכה, ועדה זבין לה. תחזי, come and see, בואו ראה, אם אפרון היה רואה במערה מה שהיה רואה באברהם, לא היה מוכר אותה לעולם. If Ephron could see in the cave what Avraham could see, he would never sell it to him ever. But for sure, Ephron didn't see anything in it. Because nothing is revealed except to its true owner. And therefore it was only revealed to Avraham, ולא לאפרון, and not to Ephron. לאפרון נתגלה, to Avraham it was revealed, כי שלא הייתה, because it was his. ולאפרון לא נתגלה, and Ephron didn't know at all what was in it. It wasn't revealed to him. משום שלא היה חלק בה, because he had no portion in it. ועל כן לא נגלה לאפרון מאומה בהמרה, and therefore Ephron doesn't have any portion at all in the cave, and he had no idea what was there. The only thing he would see in it was darkness. And And so he sold it. Umad lo tava Avraham b'kadmeita, Yazbin le'ezavim, Avraham lo kama, ela v'yitel את מערת המכפלה שלו בגומה, בכסף מלא יתננה לי בגומה, ואילו עם השדה נתתי לך, והמערה שבו לך נתתי בגומה, בגין דכולו הווה מאיס עלי דעפרון, דלא ידע מהי. ומה דלא טבע, וגם מה שלא ביקש מתחילה שימכור לו, מכר לו. And the fact that Avraham didn't tell him right from the start he should sell it to him, that's the reason that he sold it to him. Ki Avraham lo amar, because Avraham didn't say anything, ela, v'ten li et ma'arat ha'machpela, v'sadeh lo izkir. He just said, give me the cave, Machpela, and he didn't mention the field. Ve'efron amar hasadeh natati l'cha v'amar asher bo l'cha natatiya. And Ephron said, I give you the field and the cave which is in it, I'll give it to you. Mishum shakol ha'ma'us al Ephron, because it was all disgusting to Ephron. Kliyod mahu, had no idea what it was. Va'afilu hasadeh shebo hayta mara ha'ma'us alav, and even the field in which was the cave was disgusting to him. V'ken machar gam et hasadeh, and therefore he sold the field as well. Even though Avraham didn't ask for it. Okay, and we'll find out afterwards what's the essence of the cave and what's the essence of the field, and then it all begins to make sense. But let's just flow with the Zohar at the moment. Kufhei. V'ta'achazi kad al Avraham b'marata b'kadmeita chama taman nahora v'itramei afra kamei והתגלה ליתרן קברין, עד הכי הסתלק אדם בדיוקוני, וחם עלי לאברהם וחייך, ובי ידע אברהם, דתמן הוא זמין להתקברה. בואו ראה, come and see, כשנכנס אברהם לתוך המערה בראשונה, when Avraham first went into the cave at the first time, ראה שם אור, he saw light there. And the dust was cast away before him. And he sees two graves. And he sees that there is Adam, the first man, standing up from his grave, b'tzurato, in his form, v'at Avraham v'shachak, and he sees Avraham and he laughs. Ubo yada Avraham m'she'atid likaber sham, and Avraham knows then that in the future he will be buried there. Kufvav, Amale Avraham, Amalo Avraham. Oh, whoops, let's do the Amale Avraham. B'matuminach, kusta kate ithacha. Amale kodshibrichu tamreini hachar mahar zimna adhashta. Etamuna begilda b'dekirta. Adatit ant ba'olma hashta mekan va'elech. Hakiyumali ul olma hava beginech. Avraham said to him, I need to ask you a question. Am I like in a castle without a ceiling? Because he was really surprised. Because in the Ma'arat Machpela, and again you've got this, the Ma'arat Machpela is like the double cave. Which means a cave within a cave. Surely it would be complete darkness. And he sees light there. Like a house which is open from the top without a roof. Okay. and the rest of it is just Rabbi Ashlag explaining his translations from the Aramaic. Amalo. Oh, here we go. Amalo Kutshabrichu. The Holy Blessed One said to him, Amalo Adam. Oh, sorry. Amalo, the Adam. Adam said to him, HaKadosh Baruch Hu istireni kan. The Holy Blessed One hid me here. And since that time, I'm hiding here. It's like a fish which burrows in the bottom of the sea, Hanika Gilda, which is, that's what it's called. And these are the types of fishes which dwell in the bottom of the sea and sort of in the dust at the bottom. Ad shata bata leolam, until you came into the world. Ata mikan va'elech kvar yesh kiyum li ulolam bishvilcha. Because until you came into the world, now I've got existence and the world for your sake. What is this about? If we cast our minds back to Eve, we've got the fact that Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge. Okay? So what did they do when they ate from the tree of knowledge? They brought the framework of evil into reality. Okay? Now, the fact remains that they were meant to do this and it was all meant to happen. But on the other hand, what needs to happen next is the beginning of the tikkun, is the correction of the framework of evil. Okay? Now, Adam and Eve did what they did. They brought the framework of evil into reality. Okay? Now, it was necessary because you can't correct what you don't have. All right? But now Avraham Avinu is the beginning of the tikkun because he's chesed. He's the first one who from within himself recognizes God and wants to serve God. And he's the sort of the head of, he's the ultimate of the tikkun of creation. So when he comes into the world, okay, and Avraham, when he's in his full stature, okay, is now ready, okay, and he's doing the correction of the world, he's correcting Adam, tikenoto, okay? He's correcting the Adam himself, and he's correcting the world, okay? Because when Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, the holiness of the world also went down at the same time. I saw something happened in the chat. What happened in the chat? Okay, so that was a question. It says, if it was meant to happen, then why do we use the language of tikkun or sin? It's only confusing. Now, there is a real reason why we use that. It is a sin. I'll just tell you briefly, but if you want to really go into it, then I'm doing a series of shiurim at the Bas Midrash in Tzfat, and they're being zoomed, okay, and we go into the whole of the sin of Adam in great depth there, which is really fascinating. Why the thing is, it was meant to happen because also our sins are also part of reality, okay, as the Baal Shem Tov says, before an action, we've got total free choice. After an action, however, whatever it was, even if it was a sin and even if it was something we deeply regretful afterwards, nevertheless, we have to know that was what God wanted, okay? Because there's only one master of the universe, and that's HaKadosh Baruch Hu, okay? So even if we say, you can't say, it was, we have to take responsibility on the one hand, but we also have to know that everything comes from God. including the sins. All right. Okay, so that's the short answer. The long answer is on those shiurim there, which I'll put a link to them in the chat afterwards. Okay, that's a good question. So yes, so Adam is like, he knows, he feels that he himself and the world are now machusrei shlemut. They are lacking perfection. Okay, because of the sin. So he's hiding himself because he now also has the will to receive himself alone. So he doesn't want the klipot, which are the lights which sustain the framework of evil, to grab him. But when Avraham comes into the world, tikenoto, he starts the tikkun, and it says, I think it might be written here, in the second chapter of Bereshit, okay, Vayu Toldot Shamayim Va'aretz Behibaram, and this is the generation of the heaven and earth. Heaven and earth is Adam and Eve, okay, because Adam and Eve were not actually born. He wasn't born, he was created, okay. Behibaram, if you take when they were created, Behibaram, if you take that word and turn it around the letters, you get Avraham, okay. So Avraham is hidden there, right in the beginning of creation, all right. So now that Avraham has come into the world, tikenoto, he's starting that tikkun. He's starting the tikkun of Adam, vet haolam, and the tikkun of the world. Ve'eino tzarich od lastir et atzmo. He no longer needs to hide himself. V'zeh shekatuv mikan ve'elech hakiyum eli ul'olma beginech. And this is why it says from here onwards that there will be, that I will survive and the world will survive because of you, all right, because of Avraham. So Avraham in the Chesed is giving up, he's upholding the world, okay. Now, you can say, but Adam and Eve were already dead. What does it mean? If he has he will have kiyum, because a person has kiyum. A person has he's upheld through his children. Okay, it's true that we will die, but Bezrat Hashem, we have children, and the children carry on. Okay, and it's through our children. It's through that we're part of a chain of reality, which is conducted through our children, okay, and we are children of souls of people who came before us, and we give rise to children. We're all part of the one chain of reality of all the souls together, which together make up the soul of Adam. Okay, so now that Avraham has started that tikkun, so we find that Adam now has kiyum, now is like upheld, and because of the human being who's now upholding and bringing the framework of holiness into reality, then the world also has existence for the same reason. I think somebody else wrote something in the chat. Okay, no problem. Kaf Zayin. Hame, Makativ, Vayakom Hasadeh Vahamara Ashebo, Kima Mamash Hava. Havale. Mad lo Havale Adhashta. Rabbi Abba Amar, Vayakom Hasadeh, Vadai Kima Mamash, the Kamis Talek Kamei de Avraham, begin the Adhashta lo itchazei taman klum, vashta ma dahavat tamir, kam vistalik v'kadin kam kula b'nimusoi. I think it began on the previous page. Yes, here we are. ראה מה שכתוב, ויקום השדה והמראה שבו. And ראה מה שכתוב, look and see what's written, and the field and the cave which is in it arose. What does that mean? Kima mamash actually rose up. Well, how does it mean that the field rose up? Mashaloyelo adata, which didn't happen up till now. That is to say, kima, raising up, lashon hashivut. Okay, it now acquires importance. That's what it means. Ki bezesh avalu shut Avraham, because now that the field and the cave has come to the possession, the domain of Avraham, kana hasadeh hashivut, the field has acquired importance. V'al ken katuv bo vayakom, and therefore it's written about it, vayakom, that's evil, like it rose up, you know. Rabbi Abba said, vayakom hasadeh, and the field arose, v'dai pewusho kima mamash, that it now got importance. Shasadeh kam v'nitale b'yad Avraham, that the Avraham, that through Avraham, the field has now sort of arisen, I think maybe also in spiritual stage or something. Because previously nothing was seen there, like F1 couldn't see anything in it. Why couldn't F1 see anything in it? Because F1, the word F1, the word afal, okay, is from the word afal. What's the word afal relate to? It relates to the ultimate will to receive for itself alone. It's like the lowest of the low, okay? So of course he didn't see anything in it because he's not got affinity of form with the framework of holiness, okay? So for him, it was just dark. So you could say, by Avraham and Chava, they were the ones who brought the framework of evil into place. So why is Ephron not able to see anything? But the answer is Adam and Chava did tshuva. They did tshuva. Okay? So yes, they brought in the framework of evil, but they did tshuva on it. And the tshuva really counts. Okay? Nothing can stand in the way of tshuva. Kufchet. Amar Rabbi Shimon, Parshat al Avraham b'marata, il taman, kamu Adam v'Chava, v'lo kabilu litkabarat taman. Amu ma anan b'ksufa kamei kutshebrechu, b'hu alma, b'ginhu chova degal meina, v'hashta yitfasef lan ksufa achra, mekamei uvdin tavin b'debachu. אמר רבי שמעון, בשעה שאברהם נכנס במערה, when Avraham came into the cave, והביא את שרה שמה, and he brings Sara there, קמו אדם וחווה, Adam and Chava got up, ולא רצו להיות קבורים שמה, and didn't want to be buried there. אמרו, המעט לנו שאנו בבושה באותו העולם לפני הקודש ברוך הוא, isn't it enough that we're feeling shamed in the world because of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, mechamat oto avon shegaramnu, because of the sin that we caused. Now we'll get even more ashamed. Shenavosh mipnei amasim tovim shelachem, because of your good deeds. Kuftet. Amar Avraham, ha'ana zamin kamei kodesh baruch hu beginech velo tchsif kamei le'olamin. מיד ואחרי כן קבע אברהם את שרה אשתו, מיד ואחרי כן בתר וקבל אברהם עליה מילדה. And Avraham said, I am prepared to pray before the Holy Blessed One for you. שלא תבוש לפניו לעולם, that you will not be ashamed before him forever. דהיינו שמכל lo avon legamri, that he will forgive you the sin completely. Miyad v'achrei ken ava Avraham et Sara ishto, and straight away after Avraham buried Sarah his wife. Ma'u v'achrei ken, what is after that? Shomer katuv haynu achar shekibel alav Avraham devar hazeh, after Avraham took it upon himself this matter, litpalel al Adam, to pray on for Adam. Kuf Yud. Adam alal b'tuchtei, Chava lo alat. עד הקריב אברהם ואילה לגבי אדם, וקבילה בגיני, כמו שכתוב, ואחרי כן קבע אברהם את שרה אשתו, לשרה לא כתיב, אלא את שרה, להשגעה חווה. גודין התיישבו בתוכתיו כדקה ייעוט, כמו שכתוב, אלה תולדות השמיים והארץ בהיברעם, ותנינן באברהם, תולדות השמיים והארץ, דה אדם וחווה. אלו השמיים והארץ לא כתיב, אלו תולדות השמיים והארץ, ולא תולדות ברנש, והנה נתקיימו בגיני דאברהם, ומינן לנד התקיימו בגיני דאברהם, דכתיב ויקום השדה והמרה שבו לאברהם, ועד דעת אברהם לא התקיימו אדם וחווה בתוכתיו, והוא עולמה. Adam came back and went to his place, but Eve didn't come back to her place. Mishum shehi garma la'adam lachet, because she was the one who initiated the sin. Kamosh katuv Aisha shenatata imadi, as it's written, the woman who you gave with me, v'ayta mefachedet she'adam lo yikablena, and she was afraid that Adam wouldn't take her in. Ad shekarav Avraham v'chnisa el Adam, until Avraham came close, then she came into Adam, v'kibla b'shvil Avraham, and he took her in because of Avraham. V'zeh shekatuv v'achrei chen kava et Sara ishto, and that's why it says, and afterwards he buried et Sara ishto, okay, his wife, and not just written le Sara, it's not just Sara as written, but et Sara. That means to include Chava, to include Eve. Shava michizira el hakever. Avraham brought her back to the grave. V'kedin nitshashvu bo, v'az nitshashvu Adam v'Chava b'mkomam karaoi. Then Adam and Chava were settled in their place as is fitting. V'zeh shekatuv, and this is what is written. Ele toldot hashamayim va'aretz b'hibar'am. These are the generations of the heaven and the earth, b'hibar'am, in their creation. V'lamadnu, and we learn that word, b'hibar'am, if you turn it around, you get ba'avraham, with Avraham. B'hibar'am otiot ba'avraham, because it's the same letters. V'yoreshe b'shvilo nitkaimu. And so it teaches that for him, for Avraham, they were, everything is upheld. Toldot hashamayim va'aretz hem Adam v'Chava. The generations of the heaven and the earth are Adam and Chava. Ki elu hashamayim va'aretz lo katuv, because these are the heavens and the earth is not written. Ela toldot hashamayim va'aretz, but the generations of the heaven and the earth. Lord al Adam v'Chava, to teach us that talking about Adam and Eve. She'einam toldot shel anashim, there's not, who are not children of people, v'alehem omeh hakatuv, and on whom was written, Nitkaimu b'shvil Avraham, they were upheld because of Avraham. Ma'in lanu, and where do we have this from? Nitkaimu b'shvil Avraham, that they were upheld because of Avraham. Ki katuv vayakom hasadeh v'hamara shebo la'Avraham, because the field and the cave which Avraham had, which was in it, was for Avraham. Sorry, but the field and the cave which was in it was for Avraham. But sheba'avraham lo nitkaimu Adam v'Chava boto olam. And until Avraham came, Adam and Chava were not upheld in the world. כלומר, שדורש ויקם הוא קיום. So now he's got existence, now he's got fulfillment, now he's got, it's okay kind of thing, all right? Because the framework of evil, which is what Adam and Eve brought into the world, okay, the purpose of bringing it in was to do the tikkun on it. If there had been no purpose of bringing it in and it was just going to be a disaster, God would not have allowed it. It wouldn't have happened, okay? But the truth was that Adam and Eve needed to bring in that aspect of the world because that's the tikkun that we all need to do, okay? That's why the human being was created. And Adam and Eve specifically understood that. She had bina yetira, and she understood the real purpose. On the other hand, that purpose of bringing in the framework of evil cannot be carried out unless Avraham comes into the world. Because the next stage of bringing in the framework of evil is for the human being to correct it, okay? Because by correcting the framework of evil, we're actually bringing the vessels for receiving the light of God into the framework of holiness and actually completing the tikkun. So it's like Adam and Eve did that first part, okay, of making that framework of evil in the first place, but without Avraham and Sara, okay, to start the tikkun, okay, and so that we can learn from Avraham and Sara, all right, the Adam and Eve's action is purposeless, okay, and that's why this beautiful midrash here is really pointing out the synergy between Adam and Eve and Avraham and Sara, because Avraham and Sara are like the continuation and opposites of Adam and Eve. Okay, they're fulfilling the purpose for which Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge. I mean, if we look at what we've been learning about Adam and Eve in the class in Tzfat, what did we learn? We learned that Eve understood that there was no such thing that God could possibly create anything intrinsically evil in the world. And when she gets even close to the tree of knowledge of good and evil, she can sense the evil in it. It is very bitter, okay? So she understands from her own sensation, of her own clarity, okay, that the tree of knowledge of good and evil has got evil in it. She understands that, she can feel it. That's why she says, don't even touch it, okay? But when she understands from the words of the snake that the purpose of the human being is, in fact, to correct that, okay? So she summed up all her everything and intended completely to correct the tree only for the sake of giving. And for the first, and that's why in the utmost of holiness, she sanctified herself to only receive for the sake of giving, and took that first bite of the apple. And she gave it to Adam in the same intention. But the problem was that once the apple was in them, okay, they actually were now made up of the framework of evil, and they ate the second time from the apple, and this time it was a complete sin, okay? So what she understood was that the human being is meant to correct the framework of evil and bring it to holiness, but she tried to do the whole thing in one go, which was not going to work. So now they've taken in the framework of evil into themselves, the Adam and Eve. They've been exiled from the Garden of Eden, okay? The earth has been cursed because of them, and it all looks pretty hopeless until along comes Avraham and Sara. And what do? They take the beautiful, the work that Adam and Eve did, and they're starting to raise it all up, okay? they're taking that framework of evil and they are beginning the tikkun of chesed and correcting the framework of evil and bringing it to eventually the end of the tikkun, in which all the sin of the tree of knowledge will be completely corrected. And it's not that you just get back to square one. It means you're much, much, much bigger than it was originally, because like a Baal Tshuva stands on a much a higher level than somebody who's born a tzaddik, okay? So that the whole world goes up to a much higher level than it was even from the original Garden of Eden through this whole process, okay? So you can see here how Avraham and Sara are actually very, very related and beginning to complementing the work of Adam and Eve. And that's why I said, until Avraham came, then Adam and Eve were not sort of like existing in the world, okay? Because it felt to them as if what they'd done was useless, all right? Now they know that it isn't useless, okay? And this is why it says, that the word vayakom, that the field and the cave in it has got existence, it's upheld. And that's teaching about Adam and Eve who were there, Avraham, because of Avraham. Adam and Eve are now being upheld because of Avraham. Kuf Yud Aleph. Rabbi Elazar, Sha'ir Rabbi Shimon Avoy, Amar Hai Marata Lav Ihu Kfilta, Daketiv Marata Machpela, Bakar Karila Levata Marat Sadeh Machpela, Machpela Ka Karile La Sadeh. Rabbi Elazar he asked his father, and he said, this cave, isn't it double? Chayei Katuv Marat Machpela. It's written the cave of Machpela, like the double cave. And then the scripture says it's the cave of the field, which is double. Does that mean that the field is called Machpela and not the cave? Okay, which bit is doubled? Okay, Kuf Yud Bet. Amale, he said to him, Hachi karile marata machpela, kamada atama, viten li marata machpela, avadai chayecha, lav marata iu machpela, velav sadeh kei machpela, ela hai sadeh marata, al shum machpela ikun, sadeh machpela vadai, velo marata, dai marata basadeh ihi, usadeh keim bamila achara. So, what's he talking about? Rabbi Shimon said to him, you do call it the cave of Machpela, כמו שאתה אומר, ויתן לי את מערת המכפלה, as Avraham says, give me the cave of Machpela, אבל ודאי חייך. But it's not the cave which is double, ואין השדה נקרא Machpela, but or the field which is called double, it's both together are called double. אבל שדה המכפלה ודאי, ולא המערה. And he goes on to that in a little bit of semantics. But what it's really talking about is talking about the midot. So that's Kuf Yud Gimel. Tachazu, Yerushalayim kol arad Yisrael itkaper tachuta, v'yikayma la'ela, v'tata k'gavnada, Yerushalayim la'ela, Yerushalayim la'tata, achida la'ela, v'achida la'tata, Yerushalayim la'ela achidat, between Sitrin Le'ela v'tata begin kach kafaltahi. Come and see, Jerusalem. Kol Eretz Yisrael mekupelet tachteha. The whole of the land of Israel is folded up underneath her. And that's, she saw the Malchut, which is the Malchut. And she's both above and below. In this way. Yesh Yerushalayim lamala, there's Jerusalem above, which is Bina. Bina is the Sfira of compassion, of giving unconditionally. V'yesh Yerushalayim lamata, and there's Jerusalem below, she Malchut, which is the vessel which wants to receive. Ki nechezet lamala v'nechezet lamata, and it holds both above and below. V'nimtzeit Yerushalayim shel mala akuza b'shnei tzadim lamala ulamata. And we find that Jerusalem of above has got two sides, both above and below. And Jerusalem of below has also got two sides, but one above and one below. Valkeni kfula, and therefore it's double. Perush, explanation. Yerushalayim shel malahi bina. The Yerushalayim of above is bina. Yerushalayim shel mata, and Jerusalem of below is malchut. ונודע שבסוד שיתוף מידת רחמים בדין נכללו זה בזה. And we know that this is the inner meaning of the inclusion of the measure of mercy, of compassion with judgment. They are included one with the other. ומתוך התכללות הזו נעשה 4 בחינות. And because of this inclusion, we now have 4 aspects. What have we got? We've got Bina and Malchut in Bina. And we've got Bina and Malchut in Malchut. Okay? ונמצא שמידת המלכות היא כפולה. So the aspect of Malchut is doubled. כי יש מלכות בבינה ויש מלכות במלכות. We've got a Malchut in Bina and Malchut in Malchut. Now, Bina is Rachamim, is compassion, and Malchut is Din, is judgment. Okay? Kuf Yud Dalet. ועדה הישדה מהי כפלתאיהו דיבי שריה, כגב נדע כתיב כרך שדה שברכו השם, לעילה ותתה, ובגין כך שדה המכפלה ודאי ולא שדה כפול. Now, it's like the same way with this field and the cave, all right? וכן שדה הזה עם מכפלה היא, שהיא מלכות, so this field has got the same situation. It's this double malchut, okay? Shesham u'shoreh. Ke'ein ze shekatuv v'eirech b'ni koech sadeh shebecho Hashem, she malchut. And it's written, this is when Yitzhak smells the garments of Yaakov, when he comes to get the blessing, he says, see, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field which God has blessed, which is the malchut. And it's doubled both above and below. And that's why it's written the double field. But okay, or the field of the doubling. Okay, explanation. There are 4 malchuyot. There's 4 aspects of malchut. 2 above, which in the aspect of Bina. Okay, 1 is the malchut of Bina. 1 is Bina and the Malchut of Bina, and 2 below, okay, which is we've got the Malchut of the Malchut. So the 2 Malchuts which are above, okay, are sweetened and included one with the other. But only the 3rd one, 1 below, is sweetened, meaning Bina of Malchut. But the 4th one, which is the Malchut of Malchut, is not. The cave in which Adam HaRishon is buried is the 4th Malchut, okay, the Malchut of the Malchut. And in the meaning of the scripture, Kafarta, because you are dust, ve'elafar tashuv, and you return to dust. Ela kevan shasa tshuva, but since he did tshuva, nichlala hamara b'sadeh, the cave is included with the field. שהוא סוד מלכות השלישית הממותקת, ושם נקבע. And so that he's more included in the 3rd Malchut, which is Bina of Malchut, and that's where he's buried. Wow. Okay, so let's just sort this out, okay? what was the issue with Ephron? Ephron said all he could see in this field was darkness. Why? Because he was in affinity of form with the Malchut of the Malchut, the complete din, okay, the complete will to receive for itself alone, okay, with nothing, with only at the end of the tikkun completely will that be revealed, will be that be enlightened. So in the meantime, Ephron, all he can see is darkness, because that's what he's in affinity of form with. Now, when Avraham goes into the cave, he sees light, and well, how can we have light if Adam has he's the one who brought the sin? But the answer is he did tshuva, and because he did tshuva, he's already not on the bottom level anymore. Okay, he's already sweetened with bina. He's already in the holy field. Okay, which is raising up these beautiful smells to and the prayers of Avraham. It's all he's more in affinity of form with the Creator already. Okay, so although he has that aspect of the Malchut, the tshuva has already raised him up, which I think is pretty beautiful. Oh my goodness, look at the time, 8:27. Heavens. Okay, so what do we see? We see that inside this whole story, we have the aspect of compassion, of bina mixing with malchut, okay, which helps the tikkun enormously. We have Avraham and Sara. By the way, Avraham and Sara, their relationship is one of, Avraham is considered like the soul, and Sara as the body, or you can say that Avraham is like the Zer Anpin and Sara is the Malchut, the Shekhinah, and that's why Sara is very associated with the Shekhinah. That's when she was alive, the Shekhinah never departed from the tent, okay, because she embodies the Shekhinah. She was the embodiment of the Shekhinah, okay. And then when Yitzhak marries Rivka and brings Rivka into the tent, the Shekhinah returns, because Rivka has the same qualities and the same relationship to Yitzhak as Avraham and Sarah. So Avraham is chesed, and Sarah is the embodiment, the bringing that into reality. Okay, so if you like, Avraham is the light and Sarah is the vessel. Okay, and together they function as a whole. And the same thing is with Yitzhak and Rivka. So Yitzhak is the light of Gvura, he's also part of the Zer Anpin, and Rivka is the embodiment, the vessel, to hold that light, to bring that light into reality. Okay, so she also is the embodiment of the Shekhinah, and therefore when she comes into the tent, it's like it's the Shekhinah is there as well, because she again is the embodiment of the Shekhinah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm getting people mixed up. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting people mixed up. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. There's somebody in the chat.
That was me.
No, it's me. It's me, I did.
It's you.
Yeah,
okay.
Tatiana, if it said that Adam was looking nothing like a regular human body, how come they're buried in the Machpela? Unless they're spirits of Adam and Chava and not bodies. Okay, it's a good question, Tatiana. I think what we have to do is to really take this on two levels simultaneously. One is the sort of like story, which it tells us, which is helpful because the story helps us understand relationships. But Rabbi Ashlag does certainly say, and the Zohar says, that the story is just the garment for the essence of the Torah. So was Adam and Eve's actual bodies buried there? Well, I guess when the original body, which they had when they were in the Garden of Eden, had to change. Okay, and this is one of the things we're going to be learning next week in the shiur on Monday, is that when they ate from the Garden of Eden, from the tree of knowledge, then their body, their physical body, had to change because they did change it when they ate they took into themselves the framework of evil, and their previous body had just been a sort of from the framework of holiness. So now that they have a mortal body, they actually did have a mortal body, like we have, and they did die at the end of 900 or something years, but they did. So I suppose they were buried there.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we'll be looking into that more on next Monday, Bezrat Hashem.
Okay.
When I said I would I'll put it on the WhatsApp, the links to the shiurim that we've been doing on Monday, which go into the whole story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Every day.
12:30 Monday.
Yeah, 12:30. It's on 12:30 on Mondays, and it's on a Zoom. And I'll send you the link, Susan.
Is that 12:30 Israel time?
12:30 Israel time, yeah.
Okay, so we would have to look up for.
Yeah. You can get the recordings. Yeah, I'll send everybody the recordings.
Awesome.
Okie
Wow.
doke.
Okay, you did it. Thank you so much, and Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Thank
Shabbat
you.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat
everyone.
shalom. Yeah,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Thank you,
shalom.
Yadida.
You're very, very welcome. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Bye.
How you doing, Yedida?
I'm good. I'm saying, let me